Just one run short of 300. That's the target for South Africa. India, after being asked to bat first, have scored 298 runs. We'll try and tell you what is it that happened over the course of the last 3-4 hours. It was a late start to this particular match after all the showers that we saw right at the start. But the good news is that there aren't any showers that have happened since then, and it doesn't look like you will have any sort of rain interruption from now. It does look like you are going to have 50 overs of the South African innings as well. It will go late into the night, but we will have our new world champion when it comes to women's cricket.
Yeah, but of course you have to keep that caveat in mind that 20 overs need to be played for that to be assured. If 20 overs of this innings are played, it's done today. There is no reserve day drama.
Actually, it will finish on the third. Because it'll end by, if it goes the full result.
But I'm saying it won't go to the reserve day.
It won't. But yes, there were the contributions. Shafali Verma right at the top. What a story. 87 of 78. Bought in cold from the World Cup, not having played an ODI for 1 year. But what a knock. 87 of 78. The highest, by the way, by an Indian in a World Cup final, Women's World Cup, because it broke the previous record of 86 that was set by Poonam Raut in that 2017 match in Lords.
The 2017 heartbreak.
Yeah. Then Deepti Sharma, 58 of 58, the only individual to have done the double of 200 wickets and 200 runs and 15 wickets in the same edition.
Wow.
And Richa Ghosh, what power hitting, 141 strike rate, 34 of 24. But somewhere I think, aided with 3 drop chances, India should have gone past 300.
I have few questions. Firstly, I wasn't too sure Amanjot coming ahead of Richa Ghosh.
I agree. I think you should have sent Richa ahead, because Amanjot is that buffer. It could have given Richa far more license to go for the big shots continuously then. Yeah. That I think was a blunder. I think you should have sent Richa ahead. Amanjot should have been below her.
Correct.
I agree with that sentiment.
No doubt over there. No doubt. See, Richa Ghosh, yes, there was form sort of, deserted her in the last couple of matches, but otherwise look at the start that she had right to this tournament, and she was at one stage one of your informed batters. She in fact showed you today why is it that so much of the good work that India has done has actually happened because of her vital contributions today as well. If you're looking at a 300 type of a score, is because you got that impetus from Richa Ghosh, something that you did get at the start. Again, those 3 big games came and then the run sort of dried up, but once again Richa,
she did well in the last match also. Australia, she got you a cameo once again. I think it was that cameo that played as much of a role as Jemima when it came to getting India over the line.
If you look at Richa Ghosh in every game where she's played, she's had a tremendous impact. That Pakistan game, you even look at all the other games prior to that as well. Richa Ghosh has been your MVP.
Yeah, today Deepti's knock as well. I guess.
Yeah,
both of them are the reason why you're sitting at 298, and that's why I think the reason I raised that question about Richa Ghosh is because that could be then the difference between a 300 plus or a very healthy 300 than 298. We'll talk about whether this total is good enough or not, but because we're talking about where is it that India lost its momentum. One, as I said, at that point I probably would have looked at a Richa Ghosh, but if I'm only trying to look at the other side, I guess maybe they thought, because they reached a situation, they're only playing 7 batters, maybe they reached a situation that if we lose a Richa here, we're going to be in too much of a trouble, so let's get some buffer and get Richa towards the end and let her do what she does best. That's one way of looking at it, much like what the Indian T20 team was doing that day by sending a Harshit and then keeping Shivam Dube to finish. I think that's the approach that they had. There are 2 ways of looking at it when it comes to that, but more importantly, I think India is sitting on 170 in 30 overs for 2 down. That's when Jemima falls. From there on, what is the typical thing we say? 30 overs, double it. I'm looking at 340. I think at one point it was looking like India should have reached 340. If not 340, at least 320 was on the cards for sure. Thanks to Deepti and Richa that you've reached almost about 300, but you could have fallen well short. Again, I'll get to the point whether this total is good enough or not a little later. But having said that, after the start you got, I'm not taking 298. I'm wanting a minimum of 320.
310, 320 easily. You should have gotten more than 300.
340 it was.
Yeah, 30 overs, you are 171. Normally, you should have scored 150, 160 in the last.
No,
20.
but usually 30 overs you double it. No, but look at the wickets in hand. You're 2 down at that point when Jemimah falls. In men's cricket, we do that. Whatever is your total in ODI cricket at 30 overs, and if you have enough wickets in hand, you double that total. That's what you get.
And you did have enough wickets in hand, because even with Jemmy's departure, you still had 4 other batters in the hut. So you could have gotten there.
And you are also benefiting from 3 dropped catches by the South Africans. Let's make no mistake about it. 3 dropped catches hurt Australia in the semi-final. Will this hurt South Africa? That it remains to be seen at this point. But already you can see that gripping the ball is becoming difficult. There are full tosses being dished out. I think Dew is playing a role. Dew will play a role.
I do sort of, while this may just prove to be a final winning total, but if I was to remove the final bit over here for a team that was poised so well at 170, 30 over stage, so many wickets in hand, I felt briefly though, some of the new batters who were coming in just got into a bit of a shell. You got into a bit of a consolidation zone, and that's why I feel that 299, yes, it feels like par. And in a big final, a 299 looks as good as a 319. But truth be told, effectively, this should have been good 20 runs more than where India are right now.
It's a par total. That's it. It's par.
Is it a par total?
I think it's par. It's par. But I would have wanted for a final, just to keep yourself safe, go above par. So you need a 330, in my opinion, bare minimum.
Only silver lining in this, that bit of a dip that India had, which I feel, is the fact that it were the 2 left-arm spinners that applied the brake when it comes to the Indian batting. Why I'm saying that's a silver lining, because you're playing 2 left-arm spinners as well. So that is giving me a little bit of a hope. And we knew the red soil pitch here does help spinners. The reason they got Radha into the 11 is because of the wickets that she picked versus Bangladesh. And so they've got here, and then their batting lineup is packed with right-handers. So you got Radha in. Charni has been your standout bowler throughout this particular World Cup. So if I see that the fact that the spinners applied the brake for India, then I'm a bit hopeful with this sort of a total.
You can also see that in the previous game against South Africa, it was Sri Charani who got you back in the scheme of things. Even in the game against Australia and Vizag also. But
even Radha picked that wicket there, though she was expensive, but in that middle phase
made a big difference of 10-15 runs in the broader scheme of things. So the main problem if you look at the 3 losses, was no support. Someone went very big. For example, Kranti had a horrible day in Vizag. She got hit for runs. You look at Sri Charani, she was the most economical of the lot, but then Sneh Rana went for 85 runs per game. So that is why, look, only Mlaba and Chloe Tryon. Mlaba in particular was outstanding with 4.7 and 6.6 with Chloe Tryon. But the off spinner struggled. 6.6, 6.8, and you have Deepti Sharma. Now, Deepti has a great record against South Africa with the ball. Because at one point she had taken, her economy was close to 2 against South Africa at one point in time, 2 or 2.5. Now she will hold the key in this to dry up the runs in the middle overs. Because your bowling attack is slightly inexperienced when you look at it. Sri Charani is playing a first World Cup. You're playing Kranti God, that's her first final. Nerves will play a role. So you need your experienced people to step up today. In Renuka and Deepti.
And Radha.
Now to the question of the total. Why this total has me worried is the fact that the last game India played here, and I know you're going to talk about the final and it being a final, and he said, 298 is as good as 319 and all of that. But I see no difference between a semi-final and a final in terms of pressure. In terms of what India may have felt that day versus Australia, there's not too much of a difference. It's a knockout game. You lose, you're out. And they chase down 340 on this very ground with the Dew in play. That takes me to the question. To answer that myself, I am not the most comfortable at this situation. Why I'm saying that is because I know I have had that situation and I've chased 40 runs more with enough to spare as well on that occasion, and I chased 40 runs more. This is a South African team that have chased a big total versus me in this tournament. this is a ground where there's going to be a lot of dew, which will create a lot of problems, and it won't be easy to go on from here. Those things are on my mind, and for that reason alone, now I think where the game stands right now, I don't know if I can dictate everything, but I'm in a situation where the result of the game may be decided based on what South Africa does. If South Africa panic, they open a door for me, I'm in. But if South Africa don't panic and do the basics right, then I have nothing, I don't hold the strings. I can't dictate where the game will go. And that is what, as an Indian fan, it's got me slightly worried. Not much. I think, total in a final is good. You've got almost 300 runs. You've done half your job. You should feel confident. But that's the only thing that
I can understand why there is a bit of doubt, because the South Africans bat very deep. They are the antithesis of the Indian batting, because the Indian batting ends at 7. But with South Africa, they can bat till 8, 9.
I think 9, if memory serves me right.
Even Kapp can wield.
Exactly. If I remember correctly, one of the reasons you lost in the group stage to South Africa was because of their batting there. You had them at like 70 odd for 5.
Yes.
And then you took your foot off the gas, and it was the low order that punished you.
Correct.
So I would be worried. That is why I'm saying that this is kind of like a at best par total. But you need to get consistent wickets, and you need to bowl South Africa out. Is the only way you are possibly going to win this. Otherwise, if they can bat 50 overs or bat through, then this match is not yours.
Yeah.
By the way, star-studded lineup there. You can see Sachin Tendulkar, you can see Jay Shah, you can see Neeta Mani, you can see Rohit Sharma with his wife. And of course, our very own Mr. Gavaskar is also there, watching the final. So, stars in full attendance. The other thing that gives me kind of hope is, this ground, D.Y. Patil, Navi Mumbai, is kind of the home of Indian women's cricket. The amount of cricket that they've played, whether it is internationally, whether it is during the WPL, whether it is in this World Cup, they have far more experience of having played here. So I think that's the confidence that they carry. In all of this, in just analyzing the total, is it a fair comparison of that 340 versus this? Why I'm asking that? Because there are certain reports that suggest, in fact, that is something that Harmanpreet also alluded to during the toss, that this pitch is not as good a pitch to bat on as the pitch that we had in the semi. Now, my point is, should we take it on face value? Should we draw our own conclusion as to what we saw? Or was it a bit of gamesmanship by the captain? Because quite often we've seen captains, when you win the toss, you do tend to say certain things, knowing fully well the opposition would be chasing.
I don't really know per se if she was being. It's very possible those games, but from what I could see, the pitch wasn't significantly slow or anything like that. If there's a difference, it's like what we in Hindi would say 19-20 ka fark. It's not that much different. Sure, the last game I remember the pitch was an absolute belter, to the point where after a point, if you were just doing the basics right, you were getting runs. But even here, I don't think India was struggling to score. In fact, I think the only reason they slowed down was because the likes of Jemmy and Harman got starts, but then didn't convert those starts. So then you needed consolidation because you've only got 7 batters. So you slowed down. I don't think the slowing down was down to anything extraordinary that the bowlers were doing.
So is that had India been playing that extra batter, they wouldn't have slowed down in the
Possibly not, because I don't think the pitch
because South
became
Africa
difficult.
will not have that problem.
I do sort of feel that, the ball was stopping a bit right at the start. However, after those first 5-7 overs, I could see the Indian batters play with a lot of freedom. Look at the way Richa Ghosh came out to bat right towards the end. It could be due also by then, but right through the innings basis, what I saw most players being able to open their arms. The openers, though, were a little slow in terms of opening their arms. So, I don't know with the new ball, if the ball is just stopping a bit with the seams fresh. Maybe once the seams a bit worn out, and that's when the ball is coming out to the bat better.
The openers were, I think, being a bit circumspect to begin with. They didn't want to lose wicket to Marizanne Kapp. If she gets you those early wickets, you will have a bit of a problem. But I think they sorted it out, because end of the 10 overs, no wicket loss, you're 60 plus, 6 and over. I think you're pretty
That's
happy
good.
with the start, despite the fact that the first 2-3 overs you're very, very careful with the way you went. I did see a bit of pitch not being very good in that middle phase, especially when their 2 left arm spinners were bowling, and that actually was the first time it gave me impression, and I started to think that 280 must be good enough on this pitch. I was thinking 280 might be fine. because of the breaks that were applied by their spinners. But then towards the end, you had Indian batters score runs rather easily. I think that is more down to the dew. And to get back to that point, I think it would be rather wet right now. And so then the ball was coming onto the bat, which takes me to the second inning. Even if the pitch was a bit sluggish, let's believe, is what our naked eye was telling you, I think second innings will become much better to bat on. So the second entire inning should be a good pitch to bat on. That is why I'm saying this is a sort of total where it's a very good total. I'll take it. Probably at the toss, if I was the captain, you asked me, because I could have had a disastrous 50 overs and, not even gotten to 220. So if you had asked the captain, Harmanpreet, there, I'm giving you 298, you want to take it, I would have taken it. I agree. The only thing where it leaves me a bit vulnerable is it's not a total where I can dictate. I just now have to do my basic and hope that the opposition makes those errors which we sometimes associate with South African teams, which we sometimes associate with teams that have not played a big final like this women's team, which we associate with teams that are playing, in away conditions with a stadium packed with home fans. Everything builds up. So those are the factors that now I'm relying on as an Indian fan and hoping that I just do my basics and hope they make few blunders and then I'm sorted. Because if they don't blunder and they take it cool, calm and collective like the Indian team took versus Australia, then that has me
We saw
worried.
multiple time champion in Australia blunder up a couple of times.
Correct.
South Africa have already cracked up in the field on 3 occasions. There's no reason to believe that in a big run chase, it's still going to be a big run chase for them to get to 300 odd runs, 299 to be precise. That you as the fielding team and as the host believe that, listen, we've still got enough in the game. Let's go apply the pressure. 2 good overs puts pressure on the batters in the middle and that opens up the floodgates for me. I do believe the South African side will also remember fighting the burden of history. First ever final for them and that comes with
But they're going to look at what other South African teams are doing now. WTC winners.
See, actually,
Rugby, what are they won the?
rugby 2-time. I mean, they've now won 4 titles.
These last few years have been South Africa's year. That T20 final is the one they
both
lost.
the men's and the women's team in cricket have made it to knockout stages of all the IPL or the ICC events. We look at Champions Trophy, they made it to the semi-final. You look at even the T20 World Cup, they reached the final, both the men and the women. So they are doing a good thing of the horrors that happened at that particular time.
And bear in mind, even 2023, the ODI World Cup, they didn't miss out by a lot. They played very well through that tournament. So they've been good recently. There's no denying that. But and what also worries me, and this is something you can't really quantify, but I've seen this with teams in other sports as well, whereby you have a team of grizzled veterans, who are desperate for that one last shot on glory. They can do a lot, and this is that South African team. There's a lot of old timers there who are just willing, who have played for years, who want that one last bit of glory before they can call it a day, and this team does have that, and that worries me.
The problem is, the silver lining that India have is the South African batting has been very inconsistent. You've had a Laura Wolvaardt score only in the semi-final. She did have starts, but then in the semi-final, she played an unbelievable now.
169 over, so that she's the tournament's highest run getter.
Yeah, but then if you look at it, but again, it's been either too much or too little.
Same with Indian batting.
Yeah.
How is it any different?
But
Jemima had a great game last time.
Smriti had one big game against New Zealand, so did Pratika.
Criticism about
knockouts.
Then when you look at it, Anneke Bosch, pretty inexperienced. Tasman Brits, after that century against New Zealand, hasn't done much. Okay, although she started the year with a bang, 5 centuries. Then you look at all of it, Sunil, Anneke Dirksen, they're all pretty inexperienced. Nadine de Klerk, she's the key. Because you want the depth.
Nadine, don't remind Indian fans of Nadine de Klerk, Siddharth. We all remember.
So
we haven't forgotten that battering.
It's basically Wolvaardt, Brits, de Klerk, Kapp.
But you know how dangerous. How dangerous it is that we're talking about de Klerk being their danger person. She comes into bat at number 9, Siddharth.
Although
that shows you the kind of batting they have, and that's what scares me.
Although
you
Kapp
need consistent wickets.
Kapp and I believe de Klerk could easily be batting higher than Tryon as well.
But she did bat at 9 against India. That's my point.
Yes.
Is that she did bat at number 9 and then
they won by 3 wickets in that sense.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. You all will have to hope that South Africa have a disastrous day like what they had against England or Australia.
Or what they've had throughout their entire history, barring the WTC final.
Okay, what's that one bowler you're picking who's going to do the job for India?
Sri Charani.
Who's going to do the Arshdeep
Sri Charani for
as
me.
Arshdeep did?
Sri Charani.
Yeah, I think Sri Charni would be the logical
Which one was
choice.
Sri Char-
I'll go with Radha.
Radha, yeah, I was also going to pick Radha.
Okay, I was going to pick any one of those, but you picked the two left arm spinners.
Left
So I'll
arm.
go with Swing Singh Thakur.
Swing Thakur.
I'll have to, no? There has to be a
Yeah.
even split as to who. Though I mean, the first choice I was going to make was going to be Radha Yadav. I just had a gut feeling that today is going to be her
Left
day.
arm spinners type thing.
Yeah, left arm spinner.
Left arm spinners have done well. This World Cup has been the World Cup for left arm spinners. Be it in any team, South Africa, India, they've all done exceptionally well. Even look at England. England also had one or two left arm spinners. They did pretty well.
Yeah.
So that's why. Only Australia didn't do well.
I think
Surprisingly.
we've forgotten about Kranti Gaur, who had the best figures this World Cup for her. Her was 3 for something was in that South Africa game.
Yeah, but she
Including that blinder of a catch.
yeah,
Going left.
indeed. So yes, it's the burden of history that's weighing on both nations, and who cracks that we'll all find out either by 12.
First
or
time champions we're definitely getting.
Definitely, yes.
The year of first continues on.
But I think, as I said, I as an Indian team at this moment would have taken this. Imagine to get almost a 300 run target you've set. What else do you want in a World Cup final?
Absolutely.
That you'll take.
I
Now,
think there is a reason also why you've not teams haven't chased well in this 21st century in the final. There's only one, and that too 167 you had to chase,
Yeah,
and you lost
2009
6
was
wickets. Yes, not Sydney ground. You struggled even to chase in that. So there is a reason I think scoreboard pressure plays very heavily in the Women's World Cup final.
okay, let's dive into some questions.
I knew
By the way,
this.
shouldn't the mid innings break have been shortened today because you've had such a delayed start? You want to? I mean, I'm just saying for the sake of the audience, people who have come from Mumbai to watch. See, you got to make it.
Even the
easier.
TV audiences.
Everyone, 12:30, you'll want to carry on. Wherever you can save some time, you should.
Only
Instead
if
of
we
half
had
hour.
strict laws in place as we do in Australia,
Yeah.
where at the Manuka Oval lights had to go out, they had to go
VIPs,
out.
They are there. Who's going to?
Tell them. Good luck.
Where have we ever
The richest man is there.
Where have we
Better
ever
half.
had a concern of fans' comfort in India? Where? Never. I mean, the build-up prior to this was your ticket sales were shambolic.
Yeah.
And now you're expecting people, now forget about it, 12:30, 1 o'clock, by the time even the local trains will shut down. 12:40 the glass look.
That they should extend, yeah.
No,
that too if India win.
Today, the
11:40 kila. What is that?
12:40.
But was that movie?
And that was movie, but
That's 40 kila.
10:40. No, it doesn't. No train in Mumbai lasts as 10:40. But yeah, look at it. Today there was supposed to be a mega block on the railway, but they cancelled it for the smooth felicitation of the guys to come to the stadium. The mega block is essentially you shut down certain platform lines and you'll run only 1 or 2 local trains in one particular line. They cancelled it today. Yes, let the fans come. I think there will be special trains. 1, 2 o'clock they will have special trains in Mumbai.
Okay, but yeah, what about the fans on television? You see? We could have shortened that. Anyway.
You signed up for this.
Did we?
Even the fans signed up for this.
No. It's not about us. It's our job. I'm talking about fans.
Even fans.
They've signed up for this.
No, they haven't.
How they
Sunday, it's a Sunday.
But then tomorrow's a Monday.
Monday.
That's
Working
yeah.
day. Yeah.
Nothing matters. If you win the trophy, nothing matters. They'll be partying till 3, 4 and then you'll have that.
Don't be a spokesperson for ICC and BCCI.
Don't be writing scripts.
Yeah, I'm here for the fans. I want to be their voice.
Okay.
You are sold out to the system.
Sold.
Dhanush.
I knew that he will say this. Wow. On year of first, Smriti fails to score first 15 ICC knockouts.
Dhanush, very unfair. Very unfair. This
No.
consistent slender.
Yeah.
She's not got a 15 any
Yeah.
ICC knockouts.
No, never.
But then again, this will be a stat. Why for the men's player you take out these stats, na?
KL Rahul, everyone pointed
Then
out. One
Sky
over
is scoring
mid-in.
this today. You're sitting and making all those jokes. Then the same criticism, no? If everything has to be treated equally, if it's not there, it's not there.
Correct.
But I think this is one of her best, which is not really saying much
Yeah.
in ICC knockouts.
I mean, at least in the 2017 final, she fell for a duck.
At least. What more can she fall for?
A so prefixed for.
Like what more can she fall for? Negative scoring.
Not a first ball duck in the final, in a chase.
No, he's saying at least here she got runs, there she fell
got
down.
zero.
I think that's what he meant.
Sridhar Savaikar, total might be enough considering World Cup final, but should have gotten to 325 after the start, you had agree. Plus, what you're holding Richa for with just 10 overs.
Exactly.
Sridhar Savaikar has said exactly what we've discussed in this broadcast. So
Tick,
far.
tick and tick.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. Amit Divakar is saying, go up please.
And it is this. Okay.
India have learned from the previous games that even 330 is not say should have accelerated earlier to post bigger total.
I think accelerating earlier wouldn't have been an option considering you had 7 batters.
That
You
is the
needed 8, and then again, anyway.
Exactly. Rakesh Bhushan.
But I mean, again, 330. But you know, again, I'm saying why? Because there is one lesson they learnt in that semi-final, all right. But they also had to see the conditions on offer today. And if we have to believe Harmanpreet's words, she said this at the toss, that this one's a bit of a sticky pitch. So maybe they had that in mind and realized that I guess we are on track to get to 290, which would have been a good total, and they've got 98. I guess. That's the only explanation. But again, what the pitch was showing you in the afternoon, or rather evening, because that's when the game started, vis-a-vis what it is going to be like now will be very different. So I must compliment the South African team. The over rate was pretty decent.
Pretty good.
3 hours, 20 minutes they finished their overs.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
it was. Yeah, so again, that 7 batter thing, I don't know, 330 would have been possible if you had accelerated and lost wickets, and I don't think even 2.
No, not with 7 batters. Not with 7 batters. No.
Yeah, that's the trade-off they had to keep in mind.
It's the obvious rider.
7 batters, what is it that you're supposed to do? So at one point they had to consolidate. And see, it's good on the Indian team. Deepti and Richa have stepped up. Assuming one of them didn't have a good day, you would had to bat with the tail for much longer. That would have been. So I think in that sense, India can thank their lucky star that they've been able to utilize all their resources till the end. If those, let's say, one between Deepti or Richa did not contribute today, Radha would have had to bat for much longer and you would have been nowhere close to there.
Correct.
Rakesh Bhushan, Nikhil, please find out who is Gigi in this women's team who's shuffling batting order. Here, Amanjot ahead of Richa. Smriti not scoring on big occasion once again. 298 big occasion, home team matches on.
Yeah,
Maybe what this also proves is that this is, not just a GG trait. There are many.
Modern day cricket.
Yeah, Amol Mazumdar, who's the coach here, maybe also thought in the same lines.
Yeah. Who will you blame? Amol, Munish, Avishkar? Who will you blame? Harman.
No, it would have been this is the sort of a decision that either the coach or the captain takes. So,
in consultation with you.
as I said, again, this is also giving an insight that this is a valid thought to have. You may agree to it or not. We've disagreed. But I guess it's...
Yeah.
It's the way it is, or a lot of people are thinking that way.
Yeah.
Praneeth Datta says that Richa came in a bit too late. I thought the batters before her ate up too many balls and scored too few runs. The bowling unit needs that one good day. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Richa thing, Praneeth, you're absolutely right. We've discussed that. This is the first thing, in fact, we touched upon. All of us did feel a bit. But again, we have the benefit of hindsight. She scored a lot of runs today, aggressively at that. What if it was one of those days where she's failed also? With Amanjot coming there later, I don't know how confident we would have been.
True.
Rakesh Bhushan, Shefali was adamant to clear mid-off twice and she succumbed. This Indian team needs to learn how to carry your bat through the innings if you're in. Harman Jemima got in but gave away to Lush.
True. See, they were trying to up the ante because they were also, their strike rate at that point was in the 60s. So they said, okay, we've gotten ourselves in, now let's kind of look and go for a big shot. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out. Oh, by the way, look at what you're seeing on the television.
Not just that, lots of pictures, there's a lot of dew.
Yeah, and they're doing whatever they can.
And the Indian bowlers are going to be up against it. It's not going to be easy bowling here. And I thought as much. It'll be very wet. Yeah. What that does is, I mean, the one positive is that, as I said, this is kind of a home ground for this team, so they played a lot of cricket here, and I think the new age cricketer also knows how to bowl in dew. Even spinners have figured out ways to do that. Just that it takes away slight bit of edge from their bowling. It does,
Yeah.
and those things make a difference. So I think South Africa, in that sense, even if there was a little bit of stickiness on the pitch, will ease out and it'll be a much better pitch to bat on.
Yeah. RE is saying, don't worry, Nikhil sir. Mumbai's Raja is going to captain from the stands and help the team.
He's there. He's sitting there. Much thinner version.
Fitter version.
Back from a great series in Australia. Number 1 ODI cricketer.
Number 1. The oldest number 1
In history.
in history.
Oh.
Yes.
You reckon he could have... No, he could have gone down to the dressing room, given a talk or two.
Maybe.
No, he's, Amul Mazumdar is there. His senior
Yes.
from Mumbai.
Indeed.
Post match he could.
Okay. Pawan Hola, who was the captain when India reached final in 2017?
Mithali Raj.
Mithali, yeah, correct.
Yeah. This is Harman's first captaincy stint.
Priyanshu, Nikhil sir, as I said earlier, analysis doesn't matter. We will win. Okay, Priyanshu. God has written the script. Even if South Africa cruise, they will somehow lose. Pratika got injured, so Shafali comes and scores. It's destiny. God's plan.
We're at God's plan levels.
Priyanshu's...
The hurt of the Indian cricket fans will end in the month that it began in.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said this? Okay, so Harshit alongside Priyanshu. Both will get a shout out from us.
Yes.
November
3.
One thing very interesting, by the way, and this is something Freaking Awesome is pointing out in his comment. He says that it's a good comeback from South Africa. 298 is a good total, defendable total, but not safe on a wicket like this. But South Africa's highest chase in ODIs is 275. So they'll need a...
India's or no team at chase to 340.
Well,
in the
World Cup of
semi-finals.
firsts. World Cup of firsts.
Yeah.
even 3-3-1 from Australia was a record.
Yeah, correct.
Exactly.
Yep.
So these lovely batting conditions do make that a lot easier.
Plus, I think it's also the evolution of women's cricket.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point where they used to, remember if the required rate would go over six
It
and a
would
half,
just
you'd
become-
say, now they can't.
Done. Yeah.
Now 7, 8 at par, so they're almost matching the men's game. I mean, of course, there'll always be difference.
I think they once had to chase 10 per over, right, in that Vizag game when de Klerk went berserk. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting there.
Yeah.
Gap isn't too much. Okay, the game's about to start. Sujesh says, hopefully that extra bowler helps India. Don't drop easy ones and we are winning it. That's a good point, actually. Hold on to your catches. That's what you need to do. Get your basics right, and then God's plan is
God's
there.
plan, yeah.
But if you're not going to get your basics right, then
Not even God's plan.
God's plan is not going to help you. With that thought, we'll leave you. Bye-bye. Look forward to your company whenever the game finishes. Hopefully, it'll be all celebrations here as
Hopefully
another
it ends
World
on the
Cup.
second. By moving to the 3rd of November.
On 2nd only. It can happen just about
Borderline.
either 2nd or 3rd
See,
of
3
November.
hours, 20 minutes.
Hopefully the Indians match the South Africans when it comes
So
to
then
the
that's the 3rd.
over 8.
3 hour 20, then we are celebrating on 3rd of November.
Yeah. All right. So let's
Bye-bye.
see. Bye-bye.